Hi everyone, it's Nay and welcome to my update to my Beauty AZ Project Pan 2023. It's been a long time since I have done an update. Stuff happened. I wasn't feeling that great for a couple of weeks. Ended up having a car accident. Obviously I'm fine. Just meant my head wasn't quite in the right place. And then when I sort of started getting back to wanting to film an update, my mum switched to babysitting days and I forgot to take my stuff home because most of the stuff that I use daily sits in my desk at work, and I just forgot to take it home, so I had to film an update when I haven't got any of it. Yeah, and I had a holiday as well, so lots of things that have been going on, which is why it's been about 3 months since I've done an update. That being said, I haven't been wearing makeup every day, probably twice a week maybe at the moment, probably about where I'm sitting. That being said, I do actually have some progress on a few things, which is nice, and yeah, a few things that are met my goal or finished as well, which is nice. Alright, so let's get started with A, shall we? For A, I've got this Avon Smooth Minerals eyeshadow stick in the colour Amethyst. This one hasn't really budged. I'm still measuring it at 6.2 centimetres, 3.8 or 9 for the whole length. Sorry, 6.2 for the whole length, about 3.8 from the tip to here, expecting that it's going to run out before then. Have used one of these before in a different colour and it actually sort of ran out about there. But yeah, when I started measuring it, I was expecting that would probably be about where it ends. That being said, I have sharpened it just recently, I think possibly even after I measured it last. Have used it a few times, and the tip is fairly blunt, so it may even be a little bit shorter than the last time I measured it, which was probably about a week ago. B, I've got this blusher from MAC in the colour Bound for Love. This one, the last time I had a measurement down was 0.7 centimetres, now it's about 0.5, and again I have used it I think just the once since I measured it, but I sort of concentrated on the area where it was sticking up the most. There's really not much left in there. It's pretty much down to the plastic. So when I've measured it from the bottom of the black, just because there is obviously plenty of product in there and you can sort of see it. I'll probably end up digging this out. It's a bit of an air hole, which I reckon is what happened in the last one. That being said, the last one went down in like a tube, so it's sort of the pan finished around about there, but there was like a hollow bit down the middle that I guess helps anchor it in place. I don't know, but yeah, even when this is done, there'll be plenty of product in there, but I'm getting pretty close to having this one done as far as this project goes, as far as actually being able to sort of measure. Now I've lost the word. Viable progress, I guess. For C, I had the Colour Trend eyeshadow quad in the colour Cocoa Dreams. I know I took it away with me. I know it came back and I unpacked it. I must have put it in with something when I was putting things away, and maybe it's fallen off the top, maybe it's fallen out of my bag. I don't know. I can't find it at the moment. I'm assuming it's around somewhere and that I'll come across it. I think I used it like twice maybe, so probably not anything any progress I was going to measure anyway, but it is what it is. For D, I've got this dramatically different moisturising lotion sample from Clinique. This one is still sitting at about 14 grams. That being said, I've used this at least once since I've measured it, possibly twice. I think I've actually used it twice since I actually measured it. I actually marked a line there, which I think was, can't remember if it was when I packed it to take it away or whatever, but it is sitting down a little bit from there, even from there. So yeah, I can be really slack about stuff like this, but I have used it a couple of times. I know I've just recently, and there is some visible progress, even if the weight hasn't changed. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if I can get much more use on that one. I've got the e.l.f. Poreless Face Primer, still sitting on 64 grams. I use this every now and again, if I haven't got another primer around, because I tend to know where this one is if I'm at home. But yeah, I don't think I've used it for a while. F, I've got the NARS Fort de France highlighter, and I've reached my goal on this one. My goal was to hit pan again. There we go, down in the corner there. So yeah, and I hit pan. I have a feeling I actually hit pan on this one like the day after I did my last update. I think that's how long ago I hit pan. There is a reasonable amount of pan there. This is not my everyday highlighter. I had already hit pan in this once, quite substantially, and then it all broke, so I repressed it, so now I've hit pan again. Yeah, I'm thinking that maybe next year I'll try and finish this up, even using other stuff fairly regularly. I can't see any reason why I can't devote a couple of months to this and just get it done. Just about cleaned out that whole little corner, so yeah, reasonably happy with that. So yeah, I'm saying for this guy that my goal was hit. As I said, I think it was about the day after my last update. For G, I've got the Good Times roll from Lush. So this, the last time I weighed it, was about 96 grams. I did take this away with me, but what I did is I put some of it into here. Now, which makes it a little bit hard to measure progress, but what I can say is that last time it was 96 grams. At the moment, these two containers and their contents are weighing 92 grams. So this one's weighing about 84, this is weighing about 8, which doesn't actually add up, but together they're coming out at 92. Actually, yes, it does add up. What am I talking about? They do add up. Duh. Yeah. So, I'm not sure what my goal was. I think my goal was to hit was to use up half of it, which I'm actually not all that far off of. I may end up just aiming to use this up, which in, years gone past would be something that would take me a while. But this year I'm actually using this a fair bit more. Yeah, so I know that I've used at least 10 grams since the start, from the first measurement I had. And I can't remember if that was an April measurement or a January measurement, because I did start this project after the Back to Mac finished. But yeah, it's nice to see some progress, and it's nice to see that even decanting it into this other container with a little bit of weight from this container, I've still made a good little bit of progress on that. So reasonably happy with that. It's coming up. H, the Burt's Bees lip balm in a hibiscus. I didn't actually grab. Okay. So this one I was using out of its original tube, and I rolled it up and it wouldn't go back down, and it was a schmozzle. So I ended up decanting it into this tube, and as you can see, I've now used it up. I sort of scraped it to one side to try and get a bit more out of it. I'll have to try and find what I've done with the other tube, and see how much is in there and whether I can like scrape this into that one or the other one into this one. It doesn't go all the way down either, which is probably why now it's just disappeared down so far on me. As I was using it, I was sort of pushing it down. But yeah, for all intents and purposes for this project, I think I'm going to call that one done. Even if I did find the other tube and somehow put them together, I'm thinking that there's not going to be anything to be able to measure anyway, so calling that one done as well. For eye, I've got this Ice Mocha Jumbo pencil, eye pencil, from NYX. This one measurement is still the same, still 10.1 centimeters. I have used it a couple of times. I think I've just sort of dulled the top from the last time I sharpened it, and I may have even sharpened it since I made that measurement. Not that that's going to make any difference anyway, apart from how much is exposed. I reckon I used this at least once while I was away. It sort of used to be my go-to, is this with a mineral eyeshadow over the top, but I've sort of put that on the back burner because there's another product in this project that I feel needs using up first, just because it's not as good as it used to be, where that one is actually reasonably new. J, I've got the Lucky Jade. Well, they call these shade sticks from MAC. My goal is to wear down the tip of this guy. I did wear this the other week. And I'm measuring at 0.2 centimeters above, so wound all the way down 2 centimeters, 0.2 centimeters sticking up above the tube, was 0.3. So I have used it a couple of times, have made a little bit of progress on it. I feel that the next couple of times I use it, it's gonna really get rid of that last little bit of mounting on the top. So yeah, I'm thinking probably only going to take a couple of uses to have this one down so that it's pretty much flat with the top there. Hopefully that will happen. Hopefully I'll get a couple more uses out of it between now and the end of the year, and we'll have that one done as well. For K, I've got the Avon Dew Kiss Lip Balm from Avon in the colour Sheer Blush. That is all that's left in this guy. This one's a bit hard to measure because obviously one side is lower than the other in the packaging, but I seem to be sort of wearing it straight. So I've got the longest measurement at 0.8 centimeters and the shortest at 0.5, which is about 1 millimeter off of both sides. So it looks like I've used the whole thing down about 1 millimeter. Yeah, so there's not a whole lot left in this guy now. Looks like it started at about 1.1 and 1.3, so I've made some really good progress on it. It's quite soft. It's quite handy little colour, size, shape. Gives a bit of colour, a little bit of moisture, but a nice easy one just to whack on without having to worry about mirrors or anything. And yeah, as long as I remember that I've got it and I use it from time to time, hopefully I'll have that undone by the end of the year. You can see how far down in the tube that is, so yeah, pretty reasonably happy with that. Yeah, but we'll see. It would be really nice to have it done, but yeah, I'm feeling good that I've made some good progress on it. And again, I'll probably find something to decant it into when it gets down to the usable product, because it looks like there's possibly product down to about there, down in the tube. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see when we get down a bit further exactly what the situation is. It looks like there might be a bit of air bubbles down there. Another thing I could do is see if I can pull it out, I suppose. There's always that fine line between being able to grab it and then being able to do something with it. I don't know, we'll see. For Elle, I've got the Lord of Misrule Shower Cream, currently weighing in at 28 grams. The last time I measured it, it was 38, so I've used at least 10 grams of this. This one is sort of more of a wintry, autumny, wintry type scent for me. So I don't think I've used it for a little while now. So I did make some good progress when I was using it. I mean, I don't know how much the container weighs. There's probably not an awful lot in there. I could probably just decide to use it, but I've got so much Lush shower gel and other shower gels, but mainly Lush shower gels, that it seems really stupid to just use something for the sake of using it when I've got a whole heap of other stuff that also needs to be used. And considering I've got another shower cream in this project, I'm thinking that's probably where this is going to end, unless I have a particular hankering for it one day, but probably not actually going to get it finished. But again, I've made some progress and I'm relatively happy with the progress I've made. It'd be nice to get it done, but you know, it's still progress. For M, I've got this Kit Melatonin Balm little sample, weighing in at about 6 grams. I'm thinking I probably used it back a month or two ago a couple of times, but I am also wondering if some of that loss is just from evaporation. Don't know. Yeah, it's sort of hard to really show any progress on this guy until I actually finish it. I think it was fuller than this before, but I couldn't really tell you. Mecca do tend to try give you reasonable samples, but yeah, we'll see. I can't sort of feel like I can use an awful lot of this at a time because it's quite sticky. I find it quite sticky. Yeah, and I don't know if it makes me sleep any better either. For N, I was done, and I've put down that I was done at the last update. I know I was done a little while ago on that. For O, I've got this Orgasm, was it NARS? I can't think what it's called. Some sort of balm. I noted back in June that I'd hit like the roof, that I cleared out a section of it. I have used it a couple more times, but not a great heap. It is the sort of thing that seems to disappear really, really quickly when I do use it. Like I don't think I'd even started using this until like the middle of the year, and that's where I'd managed to get to on it. It's not quite half gone, maybe about a third. Yeah, if I think to use it and I'm being in a packet like this, it makes it a little bit trickier than the other one in the tube. Yeah, if I start using it, I don't think it's going to take me that long to get through. For P, I've got the Pie de Pepper foot cream from Lush, and I've actually finished this guy. There wasn't too much left last time. So yeah, I mean, I'm currently measuring the tub at about 21, 22-ish grams. When I weighed it back when I was weighing everything to try and do this update, which was a couple of weeks ago. I don't know where the time goes. It was about 2 weeks ago actually. It was 24 grams, and I think I used it like twice since then. The one before was 30 grams. So yeah, this one only started off at 46. Yeah, so basically, what have I used? I've used about 24 grams, so there's about a quarter of it left. I really used to love this stuff, but once it gets past its best before date, it turns and it's really not that pleasant to use. So yeah, I reckon this was my last one, which was a little bit sad because it is discontinued, and I can understand why they discontinued it, because it's really not a pleasant colour to use once it gets past it, particularly once it gets past its use by date, it starts separating. So glad to have used it up. I probably will miss it, but it's something I can do without. That being said, if they bought it back as a, I don't know, whatever they're doing these days, retro kitchen or whatever, if they were to bring it back, I'd probably buy a couple more. But things with Lush, particularly creams, emulsions type stuff, they do have a tendency to not survive particularly long past their use by dates, so you've got to sort of be on top of it. I've sort of learnt that lesson now, that there's no point in hoarding particularly this sort of thing. I think I've got a fair trade foot lotion somewhere, possibly even two, which I'm not currently using, to give myself a bit of a break from this format, but I'm thinking I'm going to have to dig those out and use them shortly. I'm expecting that they will be fine because that was a fairly recent purchase. Having said that, fairly recent to me is probably about 3 years. But yeah, it's nice to have this one done and out of my mind. For Q, I've got the Jurlique Rose Hand Cream, which I haven't actually weighed since June. I have used it a couple of times. It's getting to the point where I'm really struggling to get anything out. I may end up cutting it open, like, there we are. Probably a couple more uses. I'll probably end up cutting it open. But this one I tend to just keep in my handbag as a little travel size one, so it's not something that I reach for particularly often. For R, I had a Fix Plus Magic Radiance that I had as being done in June. For S, I've got the Studio Fix Soft Matte Foundation Stick. This guy is currently measuring at about 1.5 centimeters at the longest point. Last time I updated it in June, it was 1.9, so I have used a little bit more of it, but this looks like it's going to take me until the end of the year now. When I went on holidays, I did end up a little bit darker, so I'm going to try and use up. I got a BB cream from MAC in a like mystery bag, even after telling me that in the terms and conditions there was no complexion products. They put in a BB cream, which I would have thought was a complexion product. When I reached out to them, they were just basically all sales are final. So I have this in medium plus. I have got it on today with a bit of banana bright powder and a tiny little bit of a lighter foundation, a more matte foundation, just sort of in my more oily parts. It doesn't seem to have an awful lot of coverage, being a beauty balm. My face and my arms are quite dark, my neck not so much. You can sort of tell where I actually got sun and where I didn't. I've got a really quite distinct watch band mark. And I mean, I've been back almost a month now. I've still got a bit of a watch band mark. So yeah, I thought, it just dawned on me the other day that maybe I should try and get some use out of this while I'm a little bit darker. So yeah, this guy is probably going to go on the back burner for a little bit. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see whether I end up reaching for this maybe as sort of T-zone under the other one, or maybe whether I just sort of put this sort of central of my face, the other one the outside of my face, more like a bronzer, but we'll see. But I am going to endeavour to at least get a little bit of use out of this medium plus. Tea. I've got this Therapy Feet Enriched Balm from the Aromatherapy Co. Since I have finished up the Lush one, I have used this now once or twice. These tubes seem to disappear fairly quickly, and it's a fairly thick, balmy consistency. So I think that now that I've actually started to use it, this will disappear reasonably quickly. I've used about a gram. Now that I've used it, it has 30 mils, but I'm thinking that because of the thickness, it's probably about a mil per gram. So probably about 30 uses. So yeah, it's probably 3 months left in the year. It's probably about, if I use it about once every 3 days, I might end up getting through this. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how we go. I'm thinking I don't know if I'm going to get it all done, but I'm thinking I'm probably going to get it about half done. I'm thinking this will probably end the year on about 15 to 20 grams. So I'd be relatively happy with that. I do have another foot cream somewhere with only the tiny bit in it. It's obviously, but it's in a big tube. It must have fallen out somewhere. I have to go find that. It's probably where the Cocoa Dreams thing is. For you, I've got this Ultra Balm from Lush that I mainly use as a lip balm. My goal is to hit the bottom of the tin. I'm not all that far away. This one's interesting because I'm down to 34 grams. Back in April, I was at 30. So yeah, I'm at 34 grams. Back in April, I was at 38 grams. So I've actually only used 4 grams for the year, which is about a tenth of what was in here, but I feel like I've cleared out so much more room than that. Yeah, I'm seeing the vague faint tin colour shining through right down in the middle there. That being said, I am not just digging down the middle, I am trying to move it out of the sides. And I think, as I've said before, if I get too much closer to the end of the year and I'm not quite there, I might end up sort of going more down the middle. But I still think that I can probably hit the tin, whichever way that happens. I have cleared out a lot more up here, and I think because I'm sort of pushing it that way, it's sitting up here as well, which I'm not sure it was before. I think it sort of slid over. Yeah, I'm hopeful that I can hit the bottom, and I think that will happen. For V, I've got the Prep and Prime skin, and I've gone for the V because it's got Base Visage in the French labelling on this guy. Currently weighing at about 26 grams. Back in June it was 34, so that's about 8 grams, so that's actually not too bad. The first measurement I had down for this was 40 grams. I'll have to check my Back to Mac measurements to see if that's what it started off with when it was full. But I've used at least half of it. You would think if you're equating 1 ml to 1 gram or thereabouts, which probably isn't that far off. When I pick it up, it feels quite light. It feels from sort of the balance and whatever that it's got to be up to at least there. I did try opening this once to see if there was like a bit I could pull out like a balloon. I could look at the balloon, but this one doesn't seem to have that. It seems to just be an airless pump. But yeah, I still feel like I'm getting less out with each pump, ever so slightly, and that every time I use it I get ever so slightly less out. Yeah, but this one also looks like it's going to be about a year to get through, which, considering how expensive this stuff is probably actually not a bad thing, apart from the fact that I'm trying to use them up. For W, I had this Ruby Woo sample. Really no way of really measuring it. I think my goal was to try and finish half of it off. I've got a nice little window happening there. Yeah, I actually have this on today, actually underneath the Orgasm Balm, just because I thought this looked a bit too red, and that gave it a little bit more pink and a little bit more shine. But yeah, because they're awkward, I don't reach for them as much as I should. I'm definitely don't think I'm going to get it finished by the end of the year. If I could get half of it done, I'd be reasonably happy with that. For X, I've got the matte bronzer from NYX. The broken packaging, which has been broken for ages and bloody digs into things. Measuring it at about 43 grams. Last time was 44, but apparently the time before that was 42. So, my goal was actually to clear out this second ring around here, and as you can see, that's all I've got left to do that. I was focusing my brush more in the middle. Now I'm focusing it more around the edges, which with its current state should still clear that out. With a couple of months left to go, I think I can do that. I don't wear this every day, even every day that I'm wearing makeup, but it does tend to be the one that I reach for when I do wear a bronzer. Again, that being said, I've actually got Laguna from NARS, a little mini, the same as the Fort de France mini that I had. And I'm actually thinking that maybe I should put some effort into using that one, that little bit darker and going into summer. Yeah, so we'll see. For Y, I've got the Yuzu and Cocoa Shower Cream. A goal on this one was originally to reach that mark there. Actually, no. I've stuffed up. My starting point was the bottom of this line here. My goal is to reach the bottom of the circle. Right. There we go. This guy is now weighing at about 197 grams. Start off at 214, so I have made some reasonable progress on this guy. I had thought that I had reached my goal, but apparently I have not. Apparently my start point. Okay, yeah, so I don't know. This is what I'm tending to reach for at the moment while we're sort of in spring and it's starting to warm up. If I'd realised that, I would have marked it better, let it settle better. But yeah, I do have some decent progress on that, so I'm reasonably happy. And then for Z, this is the Warm and Cozy Shade Stick from MAC. This is my main focus at the moment because it dried out. And I find anything with this sort of more glittery consistency tends to absorb all the water out of everything and dries up quicker. So this is my main focus at the moment. Currently we're at 2.7 centimeters. Back in June we were at about 3.2, so I have made some reasonably decent progress on this. Back in March, I think it was, maybe May. Had it marked at 3.4. So I've used 0.7. Still got a reasonable way to go. So I used about a fifth of it. Okay. Yeah, so it's not going anywhere in a hurry. When I do wear makeup, tends to be what I reach for most of the time, just because it is old. Yeah, so slowly but surely on that guy. Well, if you've watched this through to the end, thank you for watching and bearing with me while I've rambled on. I'm going to try and get a few more things updated today. And hopefully now I can get a couple more updates in. That's just my kettle, if you can hear that. It does weird things. Yeah, so hopefully I can get a couple more updates in by the end of the year, and hopefully make some decent progress. And apart from that, I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.